Hello friends, I'm Eddie Ingram, candidate for Houston County Sheriff, and I want to speak to you real briefly and tell you a little bit about myself and what our platform is. I was born and raised in Houston County and have lived here my entire life, except for a short time when I worked out of state and when I was in Iraq and Afghanistan. I knew at an early age that I wanted to be sheriff of this county. I started to work with the Houston County Sheriff Department in 1978, working part-time, and I knew even before then that I wanted to be sheriff here. I've trained and worked my entire 31-year career to get to the point with the training and the qualifications I felt that was needed to be an effective sheriff and leader for the citizens of Houston County. In the last 12 years, I've been the #2 man at 4 agencies, including 3 sheriff's departments in 3 different states. We were able to drop the crime rate 72 to 96% within 24 months by implementing a few programs in our community. You have to have the enforcement at the top, that's expected, but that alone does not work, and it's done everywhere across this country. The crime rate's not going down at all. The drugs aren't any better just by enforcement. I believe, and we have proved, that you have to educate the drugs and crime out of a community. And how do you do that? You get in every school and every church and every civic organization, and you teach these children and you teach your citizens about the dangers of drugs and the awareness programs that's out there available to all our citizens to help educate you. I'm not talking about going in school with a dancing dog or cat and putting on a show. I'm talking about going in our schools to our kindergarten age on up and telling them exactly what drugs and alcohol will do for you. We have to start educating our children, and it has to be constant. We will be in every school. There will be a deputy sheriff assigned to every county school under my administration. We're going to be there. Our program for our senior citizens, just like our students, will be weekly. We will be out there. We will be in your communities and trying to help you so that you can help us. With all of us working together, we can make a tremendous amount of difference. Now, a couple of things I want to bring out real quick. Our senior citizens are usually our easiest victims. They are our easiest victims. One thing we have to do, we have to keep a constant check on our senior citizens for identity theft, for burglaries, and other things. A lot of the ways we're going to do that, I want to explain to you. #1, we will have what we call a senior citizens checklist. At 8 a.m. every morning, our senior citizens and those other citizens in this county that desire it, we will telephone you personally and to check on you. At 8:10, we will call you back if you have failed to answer your phone at 8 a.m. If you do not answer your phone at 8:10, we will dispatch a deputy sheriff to check on you and make sure that you're okay. A lot of seniors I've talked with while we're out campaigning have said they would wish we would do that at 8 o'clock at night, and we will for those that want to be on the list. Another thing we're going to do, especially for our seniors, we're going to go into their homes at their request or at your request, and we're going to identify all your property by photographing, videoing, logging serial numbers, engraving. We're going to identify all your property, including your pets. We're going to give you a disc with that information on it, and we're going to put that information in our central computer. It's going to be password protected, so only you will have the password. But in case something happens, we will be able to get that information out. With technology like it is today, we can get that information all over the tri-state area within just a few minutes. I'm going to encourage our senior citizens to assist us on various projects at the Sheriff Department. But we will keep a constant check on our senior citizens, just like we will our handicap and anybody else that could easily become a victim of crime. The amount of burglaries, having over 1,000 burglaries in Houston County every year, is totally ridiculous. Now, I don't think you should go out here, and I don't think you should do away with traffic enforcement, obviously, but there's a lot more important things to do besides enforce minor traffic violations out here. Yes, we will enforce our traffic laws. If you're out here drinking and driving, you're going to jail. If you're driving reckless, we're going to take care of you. But there's a lot more important things that the sheriff needs to be doing besides working traffic. You can't justify working traffic when your burglaries triple. It's unexcusable. The county jail It's been rated by the U.S. Department of Justice as one of the worst jails in the nation. There's a lot more to being a sheriff than wearing a coat and tie and being on TV every time you turn around. Obviously, you look at me and tell, I'm not a suit and tie kind of guy. I'm a working man. I'm a working law enforcement officer. I know what works will be in your community. But recently, we researched and found out that 57 lawsuits have been filed against this sheriff and this administration. That's more than any of the other sheriffs combined in their first 4 years of office. 57 lawsuits. It will take Houston County taxpayers hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars in legal fees and settlements to settle all these lawsuits. And there's several more pending. You've got to be on top of your game. You've got to stay on top of it. How do we prevent lawsuits? Number one, we treat people like we want to be treated. Number two, we train all our personnel, from our dispatchers, deputies to correctional officers. We give them the training and tools they need to go out here and do a job and do it professionally and correctly. There are some great men and women that work at the Houston County Sheriff's Department, but there's some down there lacking in training and experience. We will go to that next level with those people. Another thing, drugs are here. Can we get all the drugs out of this community? I'm not stupid. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that we can, but I guarantee you we get 90% of them out of this community. I don't care what side of town you live on. I don't care how much you got in your wallet. Black, white, Latino, whatever. If you're dealing drugs in Houston County, we're going after you. I believe you have to cut the head off the chicken to keep the chicken from laying eggs. You gather eggs all day long and you're not doing anything, but we always cut the head off the chicken. That's why we've been able to drop the crime rate 72 to 96% in the counties and cities where I was the number 2 man. You've got to go after people out here that are addicted to drugs. I believe that faith-based rehab programs are the only avenue and outlet for those people. I think the good Lord himself, I know, the good Lord himself has to deliver you from drugs and alcohol. I don't believe the secular programs work. I never have. I'm not against them 100%, but I just know faith-based rehab programs work. Those programs will be available free of charge to any citizen in this county that needs that kind of assistance. Our jail will be open 24/7 to our pastors, our preachers, our healthcare professionals, so they can go into the jail and they can counsel with inmates on their time schedule, not ours. I think it's very important to have Christian men and women coming in and out of the jail. Now, the security will be tight. We're not going to jeopardize security, but I believe it's very important that these preachers come into this jail, because an inmate may connect with one preacher where he wasn't another. I want the inmates, when they leave the Houston County Jail, to have a place where they can go to church and worship and try to change their life. Speaking of our jail, which again, the U.S. Department of Justice said is one of the worst in the nation as far as sexual assault, we're going to completely revamp that system down there. I've ran 2 jails. We never had any problems. You've got to stay on top of it. With these preachers coming in, these healthcare professionals, it gives you more eyes and ears, it gives you more input. But another thing now, the inmates, they're going to be treated fair, but they are going to go to work. You will see inmates, work crews on county roads picking up trash, cleaning up the creeks, the public parks, and any other area where inmate labor can be utilized. They're going to be out there working. If we're going to pay the taxpayers, if we're going to pay for an inmate to lay up in bed and watch TV and eat and sleep and provide medical care, the least he or she can do is get out there and go to work, and they will do that under my administration. One of the last things, we will have substations in every section of this county. We will cut the response time to 5 minutes in this county. There's no sense in the citizen in this county calling 911 and having to wait 30 or 45 minutes for a deputy sheriff to respond to your residence. The deputies will be in zones, they will stay in those zones, and they will be there available when you call. We are going to work closely with all other law enforcement agencies, rescue squads, volunteer firemen in the county. We're going to train together and work together. There's 300 set eyes out there. If you take in all the extra law enforcement officers in this county, the volunteer fire and rescue personnel. We can train them. They all have radios. They know what to look for. Just like we're going to train our citizens, you can pick up your phone. These volunteers can pick up their phone or radio. You can contact me 24/7 and give us information, and we will respond to it. We're not going to sit idle on information. My personal cell number is 796-7667. I'll be available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I'm not going to run you around. I'm a straight shooter. If we can help you, we will. If we can, I just tell you straight up, there's no use wasting your time nor ours. But I will be available to you when you call. If you're doing the hiring, which you are, you're hiring a sheriff of this county. I wish you would look at my qualifications and my opponent's qualifications before you make your choice of vote. It'll be clear. We have the experience, we have the leadership, and we can take the sheriff's department to the next level, and we can get the drugs and the crime out of this county. I'm Eddie Ingram. I appreciate your support, and please go vote November the 2nd. Let's make a difference in this county. Let's get these programs started. Let's get the crime out of here, and just pray for us, and we appreciate anything you do. Thank you.